Greetings everyone, hey, how you doing? It's Matt Sella. Today we are doing a spoiler review for DuckTales Season 2, Episode 23, The Richest Duck in the World. Isn't this amazing, folks? Oh, by the way, I forgot to say this last couple episodes, but spoilers ahead, just so you know, it's a spoiler talk. And I'm joined here, sort of. It's actually the fact that Marc found himself on an island nearby, not quite here yet. Marc is hanging out with the strange creature. How you doing there, Marc?
It's a very Lovecraftian looking island. I'm dubious to think there's just some zombie, obsessed with wealth here. I'm pretty sure there's other ancient evils.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll be safe long enough to give your thoughts on this episode. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell to make sure videos drop when you see them. Do the whole thing you gotta do to support me, but let's get straight into it. So the basic synopsis of this episode is, after Louie becomes the richest duck in the world, he unknowingly releases an ancient, unstoppable monster, cursed to hunt down and destroy the richest duck in the world, to which Scrooge must protect him. Meanwhile, Della attempts to contact her friend Penumbra on the moon.
No.
Yeah, and that's basically the synopsis of the story. So, Marc, why don't you give us your 5 cents on this episode here?
Well, like I said earlier, aside from where I am currently, I actually found the design of the island that the Bombi is imprisoned on actually had a very Lovecraftian feel to it. It reminded me of the depictions I've seen from Call of Cthulhu, that Lovecraftian story.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. But other than that, I'm sure he's supposed to sort of be they don't really explain him, and I think that's kind of a detriment to this episode, because all the while, especially once he showed up, because I was actually expecting, it wouldn't have made any sense, but in the Darkwing Duck comics, and I think you've seen them, Matt, there is actually Duck Thulu.
Oh, right, there is.
So for a second I thought, oh Christ, we're going to have ancient cosmic horror and a moon invasion? No, it's just the Bombi, and I don't know, for kind of a Golem-esque character, but also just, it kind of to me looked like someone really wanted to do an episode with Solomon Grundy, but didn't realize Disney owned Marvel and not DC.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw the Bombi.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. But yeah, I mean, the synopsis is really pretty much the episode. There's not much to it outside of, really what we said. Allison at least is going to go and, be independent, so, good for her.
Yeah, no, she was being tossed around a little too much, where she's like, she just wants to do her job and do it well.
I will say, there was, speaking of continuity, there was, in the beginning of the series, they mentioned the, money spent on magical defenses, and this was a specific one, so it is good to see, that, because we had originally assumed it was for Magica, but she was imprisoned in the dime, so there would really be no point, so it was fun to have that come full circle.
It really does. And I think you're absolutely right. This is a pretty straightforward episode. We kind of went off from what last time we said about Louie, whether if he learned the right lesson or not. I kind of feel like a completely different lesson was being taught here. Not so much like the consequences of his schemes, but more like, oh, if you're going to be rich, one of the key aspects to being rich and loved or whatever, I guess, is the whole aspect of humility, being honest with yourself and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it's a little disassociated with the actual Louie scheming, hurting other people connection. But I suppose it's all like a domino effect. It all comes together, puzzle piece, if you will. But I kind of wish Louie's current predicament, at least the last episode, was tied in a little bit better instead of kind of giving us a new lesson to be learned here. Because he wasn't really scheming in this episode. It was more just being lazy and greedy and selfish.
Right, and I kind of echo those sentiments, but
it's a good lesson to learn, don't get me wrong. Humility is very important.
No, it totally is, but I think also at the same time it was, you could argue Scrooge didn't need to learn it, but I think it also was a bit of him being reminded of it.
Yeah, I mean, humility comes and goes, unfortunately, so I was also thinking that too at the end of the episode. It's like, wait, all this time and Scrooge doesn't know anything about humility?
Yeah, that kind of is a bit weird, but I guess he never used it in front of the beast. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I guess in many ways the Bombi is a way to keep you in check.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Not so much like on and off things like, oh, you dealt with it once, you're good. It's like, no, it makes sure you stay
But again, I would have liked, a little more, not to bog this episode down with, lore, but I would have liked a little bit more of an explanation and, just sort of the rules of this creature. It has the very interesting and cryptic, sort of rhyme to it, but, where did it go? Just a little more for how long the episode was. It kind of, I don't want to say it floundered, but it didn't really progress very much for me.
No, it did not. It felt like a semi-decent one-off of an episode. But let's get off of that real quick here. And I actually want to talk about something a little bit more interesting, at least I found it more interesting, was kind of the indirect realization Della had about what kind of relationship she may have had with Penumbra on the moon by trying to send out a message to her using Dewey's late night show. And the host being kind of like snarky and sarcastic was bringing up interesting points to Della that she never quite thought of. And she kind of started to put those pieces together in her mind. And I thought that was really interesting. I want to see how that might play out in the next episode. Even though I believe the cliffhanger technically eliminated that possible reservation. What do you think?
No, it totally did. It was, I mean, they still have to actually confront it. Just because she got a call from her doesn't necessarily rectify it, but that might be all we get. It's hard to say.
And it wasn't like a friendship call. It was more like a warning call.
Sort of, yeah, although she did say her friend.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of wish they played on that a little bit more, and I'm sure they will. It probably just won't be as predominant. But I don't know, I found that really interesting, at least that angle of the episode.
Yeah, it's kind of unfair for this episode, because I feel like any other week this would have been a perfectly fine episode for me, but I am just looking to the horizon for Moonvasion.
And it looks like the cliffhanger has set that up perfectly for the next episode.
It has.
And you know what, Mark? I think that's fine enough for our little review here.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. To the point. I like it. All right, folks. Well, Mark has been away for quite some time now, and I think, going off of what Scrooge says about working hard, I'm going to attempt to go out there and bring Mark back myself. So hopefully tomorrow, we'll both be here.
Or we'll both be completely separated.
Well, I certainly hope that's not the case, because it is the season finale tomorrow.
So excited.
But things could get in the way, so a little patience for Mark's rescue. Anywho, thank you all for checking out this review. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to support me. Ring that bell to be notified when videos drop. And to further support me, please consider going to my Patreon at patreon.com/Matt Sella. Donate as little as $1 a month or more to help go towards my podcast, animation, art, and content made just for you. Oh, and above all else, let us know your comments on this episode of The Richest Duck in the World, Season 2, Episode 23. What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Share your thoughts. Join the conversation. Like this review if you enjoyed it. Like I said, folks, I'm going to go out there and try to bring Mark back before the moon invasion happens.
A daring rescue.
It shall be done, hopefully. This is Matt Sella.
This is Mark.
And thank you all for tuning in. I'm taking the plunge into... Wait, you're not in space. Where are you? Oh, no, I'm lost!
This is going to be great.